Greetings, Hi-Fi Plus fans. Today we're going to talk about the Sanders Magtech amplifier. It's one that maybe isn't on your high list. We have reviewed it though in Hi-Fi Plus, and it's one that hopefully after you watch this video you'll feel is worth your time to consider and to take the time to go and research. I found it to be a fantastic amplifier, and I'll walk you through a little bit about what I've discovered. First of all, many of you probably fall into one of two primary camps of audiophile or stereo fan. You may be an objectivist or you may be a subjectivist. All the forums talk about this, usually with a lot of heated language as one side tries to defend its position against the other. The objectivists are fully about the measurements, the numbers, all of the equations that go into amp and engineering creation so that you can have a highly well-spec'd amplifier, something that no matter what you want to look at for the measurements are right to the edge, best possible quality. The subjectivist, though, is less concerned about this. The subjectivist wants to sit down, turn on the system, and listen, and decide it sounds great, or it's missing something. And for the person that thinks it sounds great, and I fall into this camp more myself, is if it sounds great to me, I'm less concerned with whether the measurements are stellar or maybe a little bit lacking in one particular area or another. If I'm enjoying my tunes, I'm happy. But I have some friends, many of whom are longtime audiophiles, that just can't enjoy it if they know somewhere in the measurements there's a little bit of a fly in the ointment and something's not measuring up as best it could. Well, this is the beauty of the Magtech by Sanders. This is an amplifier where you could be from either camp and you're going to be highly satisfied. One thing is you have an engineer in Roger Sanders who truly is an objectivist through and through. He is an engineer's engineer with 50 years of experience and training and tinkering around in the lab to make sure that he can make every measurement with the equipment that he builds to the best that he's possibly able to do so, starting with his fantastic electrostatic speakers. They've been show winners for many years, and if you're a fan of other electrostats, the Martin Logans and things of that sort, then the Magtech speakers would be something that you would want to take a time out and go find. But in the midst of creating the speakers and then deciding how best to amplify them, he was not able to find an amplifier that was measuring up literally to what his expectations were for the best needs of the speakers he'd created. So after 2 years of work, he came up with the Magtech. We'll have a little more detail of that later in the video that'll go through a lot of the blow-by-blow of how he went about it. But at the end of the day, this is an amplifier that, from all types of measurements, is going to measure fantastically well. Plenty of power. As we'll discuss later on, 500 watts into 8 ohms. And if you have a 4 ohm pair of speakers, these amps will push 900 watts per channel. And they'll do it with a fully regulated power supply. One that gives off virtually no heat. It's almost completely efficient. So that means no protective circuitry required. This is an amp that is going to do its best and give you the full signal 100% of the time. And it's pretty special. I had the opportunity to use it with a number of different speakers, both highly efficient speakers and less so. On the less so side, I ran it with the Vandersteen Quattro CT Woods. Fantastic speakers, terrific sounding, but 87 dB in their efficiency. And depending on the measurements, some have measured them as low as 84. The Magtechs drove them with no problem whatsoever. Volume was there whenever I needed it. The dynamics were fantastic. You were able to get a true sense that these were speakers and this was an amp that worked well together. One of the things that I like about the Quattros is they are a full range speaker, and there were no problems getting the depth at the low end. Then we ran them with some DeVore 093s, kind of the other side of the table. 93 dB efficient, hence the 93 and the 093 name. Something that actually works very well with low watt tube amplifiers. And yet, running the Magtech through them, they performed at an impressive level with terrific detail, great soundstage, and lots of three-dimensionality. But regardless of the speakers that I tried with the Magtech, what was impressive about it is you always got that sense where there was plenty of power. You always got that sense of firmness and control. And no matter what type of music you played, the authority was there, as was nuance. So you were able to enjoy things at virtually any listening level. Something very quiet in the evening, in that almost background 50 to 60 dB. But you could also crank it up and get stadium level. And you still were able to get the full measure of what you were listening for within the sound, whether it was orchestral, opera, or whether it was pop, rock, or something on the techno side. All of them worked extremely well. Had a favorite that I put through here. Was listening to one of my favorite oldie but goodies, Sting from 10 Summoner's Tale, Shape of My Heart. Fantastic. You got the plucks of the strings. You got the terrific vocals from Sting. All the little nuances as he went through the song. It was one of those experiences where, with either set of speakers, the Vandersteens with their low efficiency but terrific power, and the DeVores with their high efficiency and their more intimate levels of listening. In either case, it was a terrific presentation. And the Magtech was able to make that happen regardless of the style of speaker design that I was looking for. Now remember, this amplifier was developed specifically for electrostatics. And yet, when you take it and run it with a dynamic speaker with regular drivers, it still works beautifully. I also like the look of this amplifier. It's understated, but it's very businesslike. It's beautiful in either the white or in the black, the two choices that it comes available with. And in either case, on the front, it has a very nice, not bright, blue Sanders logo that does the job of telling you who it's from, but doesn't light your room up with neon. So I like that compromise. The amplifier comes in stereo or in mono, depending on what you want to do. So if you want to combine and have over a kilowatt of power for a 4 ohm amp in mono, you can do that with these amplifiers. And at a price of a little over $7,500 US each, you're not going to blow the bank and still have terrific control, terrific grip, and great nuance with whatever speaker you're going to run with them. And as I mentioned, with the DeVores, where I've been able to run them successfully and very beautifully on as little as 10 watts of tube power, having 500 watts was not a negative. All you got was a sense of fullness and a sense that there was plenty of control behind all of the beautiful presentations of either chamber music or classical guitar or folk music, all performed beautifully with this Magtech amplifier. So I would encourage anyone that's looking for something a little different, something that's not necessarily the mainstream, but something that's going to perform at an extremely high level. The Magtech is definitely worth the look. And what I appreciate about it is it's not a 5-figure or sometimes these days 6-figure, and yet you're getting flagship level performance that I would put up against just about any other major amplifier out there. This one's a winner, and it's one that you could live with for a long, long time. So hopefully you'll get the opportunity to find one at a dealer near you, give it a real audition, and test it out with whatever speakers that you have at home. Because I think you'll find that it is a real treat, and it is something that you maybe weren't expecting. So good luck with that, and we'll be back to you another time with another one of the reviews from Hi-Fi Plus, and I hope you guys make it a great day. Thank you. I'm Eric Neff.